Ask 10 people the best way to protect their kidneys, and almost every one of them will say the same two things: drink more water, cut back on salt. And both of those are true. They matter, but they are maybe a third of the real story, and the part nobody tells you is the part that happens while you sleep. Here is what almost no one explains. Your kidneys do some of their most important recovery overnight in the hours after your blood pressure naturally drops and the filtering slows down. What you eat in that last hour before bed either helps that recovery or quietly works against it. And after 60, this matters more than almost anything because kidney damage is silent. A failing kidney does not hurt. There are barely any pain nerves to warn you. By the time it shows up on a routine blood test, a third of your filtering power can already be gone, and unlike your liver, your kidneys do not grow back what they lose. I have spent 15 years watching this quiet problem sneak up on good people who thought they were doing everything right. So tonight, I am giving you the fruits to eat in the evening that actually help protect those filters while you sleep. Some of them you would expect. A few will genuinely surprise you, and one of them is a fruit that a lot of people with kidney worries have been told to stay completely away from for a reason I'm going to explain honestly. At the very end, I will hand you a simple bedtime recipe that puts the safest and best of them into one glass. Before I give you the first fruit, I want to say one thing to them, person watching who is scared they have already left this too late. Listen to me. Even when kidneys cannot regrow what they have lost, you can slow the decline almost to a stop, and people do it every day. I have watched patients in their 70s hold their kidney numbers steady for years once they stopped overloading the filters and started giving them what they need. That is the whole reason I make these videos. I want you living longer, stronger, and healthier well past the age everyone told you to slow down. So I took everything I tell my own patients, the food, the timing, the small daily habits that actually move the needle, and I put it into one simple plan. It has already helped thousands of people over 60 get their energy and their numbers back. If you want it, the link is sitting right there on your screen whenever you are ready for it. Now let us talk about your kidneys. Here's what almost no one explains in a 12-minute office visit. Each of your kidneys holds about 1 million tiny filters called nephrons, and at the heart of each one is a little knot of blood vessels called a glomerulus. That is the actual filter, the thing that pulls waste out of your blood and leaves the good stuff in. You are born with all the nephrons you will ever get. They do not come back. So, this whole game after 60 is about protecting the ones you still have. Two things wear those filters down faster than anything else, and you can picture both of them. The first is pressure. Every time your blood pressure runs high, it grinds against those tiny vessels like water hammering through a hose that is turned up too hard. Over years, that pressure scars the filters shut one by one. The second is oxidative stress, which is just a fancy way of saying a slow internal rusting inside your cells. The same kind of damage that turns a cut apple brown. A kidney under high pressure and high oxidative stress is a kidney quietly losing nephrons every year. Now here is why the evening is the part nobody tells you about. Your blood pressure is not meant to stay flat all day, day and night. In a healthy body, it drops by 10 to 20% while you sleep. We call that nighttime dipping, and it is the kidney's recovery window, the few hours when the pressure comes off those filters and they get to rest. People whose pressure does not dip at night, the ones we call non-dippers, lose kidney function faster. That is well established. So the goal of everything you eat in that last hour is simple. Help your pressure dip, cool the resting, and do not hand your kidneys a pile of extra work right as they are trying to rest. Every fruit I am about to give you does one of 3 jobs in that overnight window. It delivers antioxidants that mop up the resting and protect the glomeruli. It carries plant compounds that relax your blood vessels and help your pressure take its natural nighttime dip. Or it works upstream on your gut, your uric acid, your urinary tract to take a load off the kidneys before it ever reaches them. and almost every one of them is low in sugar and gentle enough to eat at night. I say almost because there is one important exception, and I will be very direct with you when we get to it. Let me show you the first fruit. The first fruit is blueberries, and this is the one with the strongest, cleanest evidence behind it. So, we start here. What makes a blueberry that deep blue color is a pigment called anthocyanin, and anthocyanins are among the most powerful antioxidants we have ever found in food. For your kidneys, that matters in a direct way. Remember the rusting, the oxidative stress that scars the filters? Anthocyanins are exactly the compounds that quench it. In study after study, diets rich in these berry pigments are linked to lower inflammation and better blood vessel function. And your kidneys are essentially an organ made of blood vessels. Protect the vessels and you protect the filters. There is a second reason blueberries earn the bedtime slot, and it is a quiet one. They are low in potassium and low in sodium, which makes them one of the few fruits that are friendly even to kidneys that are already under strain. Hold that thought because potassium is going to come up again later in a way that genuinely matters. Here is how to use them at night. A small handful, about half a cup, on their own or stirred into a little plain yogurt. Frozen works just as well as fresh, and frozen berries are often picked riper, so the pigment content is high. Keep the portion modest. Half a cup gives your kidneys the antioxidant load they want without much sugar at all, right before your filters settle in for the night. Number 2 is one almost nobody thinks to eat at night, and almost everyone has the wrong idea about: cranberries. Most people file cranberries under one thing, that tart juice you drink when you feel a urinary infection coming on. And they are not wrong, but they are stopping at the surface. Here is the deeper reason cranberries belong in a kidney video. They contain a special compound called an A-type proanthocyanidin that makes it physically harder for bacteria to grab onto the lining of your urinary tract. That is not folklore. That is the mechanism, and it matters for your kidneys specifically because urinary infections that creep upward are one of the real ways otherwise healthy kidneys get damaged over a lifetime. Every infection you prevent down low is a stress you spare the kidneys up top. On top of that, cranberries are loaded with the same family of antioxidants we just talked about, so they are cooling the oxidative stress at the same time. They are tart, which is the one catch. The trick is to skip the sugary cranberry cocktail, which is basically soda, and reach for either unsweetened dried cranberries, a small spoonful, or a splash of pure unsweetened cranberry juice cut with water. A little goes a long way, and it is a smart, gentle thing to send through your system overnight. Number 3 is red grapes, and the color is the whole point. So reach for the red and purple ones, not the green. The skin of a red grape is rich in resveratrol, a plant compound that has become one of the most studied molecules in all of aging research. For your kidneys, resveratrol does 2 useful things at once. It calms inflammation, and it helps your blood vessels relax and widen, which is exactly what you want happening as your body tries to let its pressure dip for the night. Relaxed vessels mean a smoother, lower nighttime pressure. And a lower nighttime pressure means less grinding on those tiny filters while you sleep. Grapes have a quiet bonus that fits this video perfectly. They naturally contain a small amount of melatonin, the same signal your brain uses to tell your body it is time for sleep. It is not a sleeping pill's worth, but a fruit that nudges you gently toward deeper sleep is a fruit that helps your pressure take its proper nighttime dip. Good sleep and a healthy nighttime pressure are the same coin. Now, a word of caution that keeps this honest. Grapes are sweeter than the berries, so portion is everything. This is not a fruit to eat by the bowlful at night. About 10 to 15 red grapes is the right evening dose, eaten, whole, skin and all, because the resveratrol lives in the skin. A trick I like is to freeze them. Frozen grapes take longer to eat and feel like a real dessert, which keeps you away from the actual ice cream. Number 4 is the humble apple, and it protects your kidneys through a back door most people never think about: your gut. An apple is one of the best sources there is of a soluble fiber called pectin. When that pectin reaches your gut, it feeds the good bacteria living there, and a calm, well-fed gut sends far less inflammation up into your bloodstream. That matters because the kidneys filter everything in that bloodstream. A gut that is quietly inflamed all day floods the kidneys with low-grade stress. The apple fixes the upstream end of that pipe. There is even a name for this conversation between your gut and your kidneys, the gut-kidney axis, and it is one of the most interesting areas in kidney research right now. There is more in the skin. An apple skin carries quercetin, an antioxidant shown to protect blood vessels and reduce inflammation. Peel the apple and you throw most of that away, so eat it whole. And like the blueberry, the apple is low in potassium, which keeps it on the safe list for almost everyone. A medium apple in the evening is ideal, and a slightly tart one like a Granny Smith has a little less sugar and even more of the good fiber. If you want it to feel like a treat, slice it and sprinkle real cinnamon on top. Eat it an hour or two before bed so the fiber has time to do its work before you lie down. So far, every fruit has done the same quiet work, cooling the rusting and easing the pressure, and we are only halfway. The next 4 are where it gets interesting, including the one that does something for your kidneys none of the others can, and the one a lot of people have been told to avoid completely. Quick favor before I go on. If this is the first time anyone has actually explained why your kidneys need help at night, instead of just telling you to drink water and cut salt, do me a favor and hit subscribe and give this video a like. And if you have someone in your family with high blood pressure or diabetes, the 2 biggest causes of kidney trouble there are, send this to them because this is exactly the conversation their doctor does not have time for. All right, number 5 is tart cherries, and this is the first real surprise of the night because it does something for your kidneys that nothing else on this list does. Most people know cherries as a sweet summer fruit. Tart cherries are a different animal, and they are a quiet kidney protector for a reason that comes down to one word: uric acid. Uric acid is a waste product your kidneys have to filter out, and when it runs too high, it does real harm. It forms the crystals behind gout. It is a leading cause of kidney stones, and high uric acid on its own is now linked to faster kidney decline. Tart cherries have been shown to lower uric acid levels in the blood. That is a direct, measurable favor to the organ doing the filtering. And tart cherries fit the bedtime theme better than almost anything here, because they are one of the richest natural sources of melatonin there is. This is genuinely the sleep fruit. The same melatonin that helps you fall into a deeper sleep is helping your blood pressure take its full nighttime dip, which, as we keep coming back to, is the kidney's recovery window. Lower uric acid and deeper sleep from one small fruit right before bed. It is almost made for this slot. Use them as unsweetened dried tart cherries, a small spoonful, or a splash of pure tart cherry juice, the unsweetened kind, cut with a little water about an hour before bed. Skip anything labeled cherry cocktail or cherry flavored, which is just sugar. The real tart unsweetened version is the one that works. Number 6 is strawberries, and they belong here for the same reason the blueberry does, with a couple of bonuses of their own. Strawberries are loaded with antioxidants, including a powerful one called ellagic acid, along with a heavy dose of vitamin C, and together they go straight at the oxidative stress wearing down your filters. They are also genuinely anti-inflammatory. Chronic, low-grade inflammation is one of the engines that drives kidney disease forward year after year, and strawberries help cool that fire. For a fruit that tastes like dessert, that is serious work. Here's the part that fits this video. Strawberries are mostly water and fiber with very little sugar, which makes them one of the lightest, gentlest things you can put in your stomach at night. You are getting a real antioxidant hit without spiking your blood sugar and without sitting heavy while you are trying to sleep. They are also reasonable on potassium for most people, though not quite as low as blueberries. So if your kidneys are already compromised, keep the portion small. About half a cup to a cup of fresh strawberries in the evening, sliced, on their own or with a spoon of plain yogurt. If you want them a little sweeter without adding sugar, a small shake of cinnamon does the job. Simple, light, and exactly the kind of thing your kidneys want as they settle in for the night. Number 7 is pineapple, and this is the one almost nobody in this country thinks to eat for their kidneys. Pineapple has a secret weapon. It is the only common fruit that contains a natural enzyme called bromelain, and bromelain is a genuine anti-inflammatory. It helps quiet the kind of widespread low-grade inflammation that quietly damages the filters over time, and it eases the digestive load, which means less work flowing up to the kidneys overnight. On top of the bromelain, pineapple brings a big dose of vitamin C and other antioxidants, the same protective crew we keep coming back to. And here's the part that makes pineapple a smart night choice. It is actually low in potassium, lower than most people assume for something that's sweet and tropical, which puts it on the friendlier side of the list for kidneys that are already working hard. It is mostly water, too, so it is hydrating without being heavy. The catch with pineapple is sugar, because it is one of the sweeter fruits, so portion matters. About half a cup of fresh pineapple chunks in the evening is plenty. Fresh or frozen is far better than canned, because canned pineapple is usually swimming in added syrup that undoes the whole point. A few cold chunks an hour before bed feel like a treat, and put that bromelain to work while you sleep. Number 8 is the surprise I promised you, and it is citrus, oranges and their relatives. The one fruit that a lot of people with kidney worries have been told to stay away from, and I need to explain both sides of this honestly, because the truth is genuinely two-sided. Here's the good side, and it is a real one. Citrus fruits are one of the best sources of a compound called citrate. When citrate passes through your kidneys, it binds to calcium in your urine and stops it from clumping into stones. In plain terms, citrate is one of your body's own natural defenses against kidney stones, and citrus tops you up on it. On top of that, oranges are packed with vitamin C and antioxidants that fight the same oxidative stress as everything else on this list. For a person with healthy kidneys and a history of stones, citrus can be genuinely protective. So, why the warning? Citrus is high in potassium, and this is the one place in this whole video where I have to stop and be very direct with you. For healthy kidneys, potassium is not a problem at all. Healthy kidneys clear the extra easily, and potassium actually helps lower blood pressure. But for kidneys that are already failing, in the later stages of chronic kidney disease or on dialysis, those kidneys cannot clear potassium properly, and it can build up in the blood to dangerous, even life-threatening levels. So this is the rule. If you have been diagnosed with kidney disease or you are on a medication that affects potassium, do not add oranges, bananas, or any high potassium fruit until you have asked your own doctor whether it is safe with your numbers. For most people watching, citrus is a healthy nighttime choice. For some, it is exactly the wrong one, and only your own blood work can tell you which group you are in. If you are cleared, a few segments of orange in the evening or half of one is a bright, citrate-rich note to end the day on. Before I give you the bonus recipe, I need to draw a clear line the way I would in my own office. These fruits support healthy kidneys and early, mild strain. They are not a treatment for kidneys that are already in trouble. If you have swelling in your legs, ankles, or around your eyes, foamy or bubbly urine, blood in your urine, a sharp drop in how much you are urinating, or pain in your back or side below the ribs, those are not fruit problems. Those are see a doctor problems, and soon. And if you already carry a diagnosis of kidney disease, you are on dialysis, or you take blood pressure or potassium-affecting medication, fold these fruits in only with your doctor's blessing, especially the citrus because of the potassium. Food is the foundation. It is not the whole house. Let me tell you about someone I will call Eleanor. She was 67, retired, active, and she came in feeling fine. Her blood work told a quieter story. Her eGFR, the number we use to grade how well the kidneys are filtering, had slipped just into the range we start watching. And her creatinine, a waste product that climbs when the filters are falling behind, had ticked up. She was stunned. She had no diabetes, she barely drank, and she had always assumed kidney trouble happened to other people. We did not start with a prescription. We started with her blood pressure and her evenings. Eleanor had a habit of winding down with salty crackers or a bowl of ice cream most nights, right as her kidneys were trying to settle into their recovery window. We swapped that. Some nights it was blueberries and a few strawberries. Other nights, a small apple with cinnamon or a spoonful of unsweetened tart cherries an hour before bed. She kept oranges to the daytime after we confirmed her potassium was fine. And she added a 10-minute walk after dinner because moving muscle helps drop blood pressure. A year later, her eGFR had held steady. It had not climbed back because kidneys do not regrow what they lose. And I want to be honest with you about that. But it had stopped falling, and her blood pressure was the best it had been in years. For a 67-year-old kidney, holding the line is a win. It was her giving those filters their night shift back. Now, the bonus I promised. The simple bedtime recipe that puts the safest and best of these into one glass. I call it the Bedtime Kidney Tonic, and it takes 2 minutes. Into a blender, put a small handful of blueberries, about a quarter cup. Add 4 or 5 sliced strawberries. Add a splash, just a splash, of pure unsweetened cranberry or tart cherry juice for the urinary and uric acid benefit. Pour in about half a cup of plain unsweetened kefir or plain yogurt, which brings probiotics for that gut-kidney connection we talked about, and a little water to loosen it. Finish with a small shake of real cinnamon. Blend it smooth. That is it. It is low in sugar, low in potassium, rich in the exact antioxidants your kidneys want overnight, and it gives you something to reach for at night that is working for your filters instead of against them. Drink it about an hour before bed in place of the salty snack or the bowl of ice cream that used to undo your whole night. Let me give you a couple of easy variations so you do not get bored because the one you actually keep doing is the one that works. On a night you want it sweeter, drop in a few red grapes before you blend. If your stomach is sensitive at night, skip the kefir and just use water with the berries. And if you would rather not blend at all, you do not have to. A small bowl of blueberries and sliced strawberries with a spoon of plain yogurt does most of the same work. The tool is not the blender. The tool is the swap. Trading the late-night salt and sugar for the fruit. Notice I kept the orange out of the blended recipe on purpose because of the potassium issue we covered. If your kidneys are healthy and you have been cleared, keep citrus as a separate daytime treat. Build the tonic from the low-potassium fruits so it is safe for the widest number of you. So here is exactly what to do tonight. 5 simple steps. 1. Close your kitchen earlier. Try to make your last food of the night one of these fruits instead of something salty or sweet, so your kidneys start their recovery window with less to clean up. 2. Pick one low-potassium fruit that is already in your house. Blueberries, strawberries, an apple, and eat a small portion about an hour before bed. 3. If you want the full effect, make the Bedtime Kidney Tonic. Blueberries, strawberries, a splash of cranberry or tart cherry, plain kefir, a shake of cinnamon. 4. Add a 10-minute walk after dinner. It helps bring your blood pressure down, and your blood pressure is the single biggest lever you hold over your kidneys. 5. If you have been diagnosed with kidney disease or you are on blood pressure or potassium medication, write down one question for your doctor this week. Which fruits are safe with my potassium? That one question protects you and tells you exactly which of these are yours. Now, eating the right fruit at night is one lever, but there is another one most people over 60 have never had checked. A single number on a standard blood test that quietly predicts kidney trouble years before your creatinine ever moves. And most doctors never mention it unless you ask. In my next video, I will tell you what that number is, how to ask for it by name, and what to do if yours is creeping up.